That's why Wisconsin Senate Democrats have all left the state. If they don't go back into the state, the Senate cannot get a quorum, it cannot reconvene, and the Republicans, therefore, cannot pass the governor's bill to break up the state's unions. According to our next guest, the Democrats are prepared to stay away from the state for weeks, for as long as it takes. Joining us again tonight from not Wisconsin is State Senator John Erpenbach. Senator Erpenbach, thank you for coming back on the show tonight, sir. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
Any change in this standoff today? Are you seeing any progress?
Not at all. Not really. In fact, the governor's actually kind of upped the rhetoric with some harsh words toward us and the labor movement in Wisconsin, which is kind of disappointing. He's the governor. His job is to bring us together when there's a disagreement and move us forward. Like I told you last night, the state's ripped apart right now, divided over this issue, really concerned about the outcome of this. As you said, Rachel, 40,000 people showed up in Madison today. More are showing up tomorrow. And we really need to come to a consensus, and we need to move on.
Why do you think the protests are getting bigger rather than smaller at this point?
Because it's not just union people showing up anymore. It's their friends, it's their neighbors, it's their family members, it's people who are going to be directly or indirectly affected by the anti-union legislation that the governor is trying to push. People are very, very concerned, not only in Madison, as we discussed last night, but all over the state of Wisconsin. People are protesting.
This afternoon, I know that the head of the largest state employees union in Wisconsin said that his union would be willing to pay more for health insurance benefits, would be willing to contribute more to their pensions, would be able to make actual financial concessions if Governor Walker would essentially stop trying to break up the union, if he would stop trying to take away collective bargaining rights. The governor rejected those terms. Does that mean there's no room to negotiate at all?
Well, it means this isn't about the money for the governor. This is all about busting the union. That's all this ever has been for Governor Walker. The public employees are saying the money isn't the issue. And they're absolutely right. The money's not the issue. The governor's going to get his money. He'll be able to balance the budget deficit. But at the same time, the union movement and a lot of us in Wisconsin don't want labor to have to give up the right to collectively bargain. And the governor is dead set against that. So just the fact that Governor Walker said, I don't care about the money, I'm not giving this up. What he's not giving up is his ability right now, it seems, to bust every single public union in Wisconsin, and that's just wrong.
One of the things that people across the country who are paying attention to this story are learning is about the history that Wisconsin has of being a pioneer in labor rights. So many things that we think of as a given in terms of things that workers deserve, things like weekends, things like an 8-hour day, things like a 40-hour week. Those are things that we actually have Wisconsin to thank. Help the rest of us in the country looking at Wisconsin from somewhere else understand what the political impact would be of busting unions in Wisconsin. How important is it to the state's self-conception and its politics?
Well, there are some people who think, and I tend to agree with them, if you can bust the public unions in Wisconsin, you can do it anywhere. And we talked last night about some sort of playbook that the Republican governors had when they all got together. And Scott Walker has pulled out a very, very tough play on the state of Wisconsin, as you can see, ripping the state apart. And he's trying to bust the public unions. And obviously, Ohio, California, New Jersey, they're all keeping an eye on what we're doing. All legislators are and all governors are. And again, I want to make this really clear, Rachel. The governor obviously doesn't care about the money he's trying to capture. He only cares about busting the unions. Now, these are people who clear our streets. These are people who police our streets. These teach our kids. They guard our prisoners and so on and so forth. These are our friends. These are our neighbors. In some cases, these are our family members. These are people who buy houses that those in the private sector build. And the governor, for whatever reason, sees unions as a threat. If anything, he should see them as an ally, because all the public workers in the state of Wisconsin actually make him look good.
Because of those stakes, because of the stakes you just described, people around the country worrying that if these unions get broken in Wisconsin by this sort of brute political force, they can get broken across the country. Because people are worried about that, people are very focused on how unified you 14 Democratic state senators are. I mean, we talked about this last night. If one of you peels off and goes back, they get a quorum and this bill passes. How much contact do you guys have with each other? Do you still have a sense of real unanimity and a real resolve that's unanimous?
Yeah, we do. We talk quite a bit throughout the day today, and we do feel very, very strong, and we do still feel that we're right in what we're doing. We're standing up for the people who haven't been heard yet. That's our job, and our job is to stand up for people who believe what the governor is doing is the wrong thing, and that's a great majority of the people of the state of Wisconsin. So we still feel very strong about what we're doing.
Wisconsin State Senator, Democrat John Erpenbach, joining us tonight from not Wisconsin. Once again, Senator Erpenbach, thank you for your time tonight. Hang in there.
Oh, okay, thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.